The reading I just read to you is from John chapter 21. It is believed to be an appendix, if you will, of the gospel. It was something that was added to the original Gospel of John. The original Gospel of John ended at the end of chapter 20. But someone thought it would be good to add a little bit more. This chapter starts with Peter deciding to go fishing. A well-known biblical commentator, George Beasley Murray, suggests that this is the most judged fishing trip in history. If you go to just about any commentary, you will see it. Not only is Peter wanting to go fishing, he's actually abandoning Christ and embracing his old life. He's forsaking Jesus. He is apostasy. He's walking into apostasy. He's being judged by these commentators pretty heavily. Beasley Murray comments, "I am going fishing does not imply I am finished preaching the kingdom of God. I am going back to my old job." Even though Jesus was crucified and Jesus was risen from the dead, the disciples still must eat. Sometimes a fishing trip is just a fishing trip. So Peter and the crew go fishing, but they do not have any luck. The only thing they catch is frustration. Imagine them there in the middle of the night. Everybody else is cozy in their homes sleeping. Everybody else is dreaming and giving their bodies well-earned rest. And I can imagine Peter thinking to himself, I might as well be sleeping myself for all the good that I'm doing this night. My effort has been wasted. They'd been on the waters after all for many hours. They'd cast the nets into the sea more times than they could count. And every time they brought up the nets, they did not even catch one fish. You can imagine a deep feeling of futility, doing the same thing throughout the night, repeatedly, and having no success. After a while, you stop even expecting success. You just go through the motions. Eventually, I imagine Peter saying, you know what? This is useless. I'm giving up. So they start to row the boat ashore. But then Peter notices this stranger on the shore. Maybe he wonders, what's he doing here? How long has he been here? The stranger shouts out from the shore to the people in the boats, "You have no fish, have you?" It's kind of mean. It's like rubbing in, you basically, like Peter would hear this as saying, your efforts tonight, total failure, right? Big zero for you, right? You got nothing. Anyway, so I can imagine Peter trying to keep the bitterness and resentment out of his voice as he says, yes, you're right, we caught nothing. And then the stranger says, well, why don't you try casting the net on the right side of the boat? And I can imagine the whole night coming flooding back in on Peter. Frustration, exhaustion, irritation, and now perhaps something new, a little anger. He was a fisherman after all. You don't just do one side of the boat. He'd probably been doing the right side of the boat repeatedly, alternating. It's kind of a silly thing to ask. And he's putting this stranger's putting Peter on the spot a little bit. But nevertheless, despite all those negative feelings, Peter does what the stranger asks. He threw out his nets, exactly as he had done all night long. Wasting no time, expecting the same results, expecting nothing, expecting failure, because that's what he had known all night long. He started to pull the net up again. If you're going to embarrass yourself like this in public, you might as well not linger over it. Just get it done. So he pulls up the net with a defiant gesture as if telling the guy, see, I'm not a stupid person. I've been doing this for my whole life. I know what I'm doing. But all of a sudden, oh, the net's caught. What's going on here? He keeps pulling up the net, and he realizes that the net's not caught at all. There's actually fish in it. There's actually a lot of fish in it. And then it dawns on all of them that this is none other than Jesus. This stranger is none other than Jesus. And Jesus seems to be in the business of making the impossible possible. Our lives can be very much like Peter's life on that night on that sea. We can spend our time doing this or that without succeeding at all, without catching a thing, so to speak. So much effort and nothing to show for it. Futility. Life can be like that night on the sea, and it seems like the whole point is to teach you the lesson of futility. Futility is a teacher, and we, his students, learn the lesson well. The lesson of futility comes from repeated failed attempts. Futility, if you learn the lesson well, is the enemy of purpose. Futility tells you that it's not even worth starting. It's not even worth trying to do something. It sets limits. If you're on this side of those boundary, it's a reasonable thing to go and do what you try to do. But outside, on the other side of that boundary, don't even try. You're wasting your time. Don't even try. Don't even start to think about it. Just give that up. Let it go. You can't change the Roman Empire. Don't even try. Why would you even try to do something like that? You can't help the poor. You can't change life for the poor. Why would you even think about trying to do something like that? Give it up. It's silly. It's a waste of your time. Futility teaches us to limit our imaginations so that we cannot even imagine a world without hunger. We cannot even imagine the world without wars, without oppression. It's not even something that sits as a strange imagination. It's gone, totally gone. Futility sets the limits for what is considered reasonable, believable, doable, the worthwhile. And the miracle of the fish that we read this morning undermines the lesson of futility. It suggests that just on the other side of futility, just on the other side, you may find the lost hope that you've been looking for. Just one step beyond the cold logic that keeps our dreams in chains, just one step beyond futility's iron rule, you just might find something. You might find hope. This miracle story invites us into a world of imagined possibilities. Remember, futility told us what's a waste of your time to even start imagining. Don't even think about it. Well, this parable invites you to think about exactly those things that you gave up on years ago. Well, aren't we opening ourselves up to disappointment? Perhaps. But you're never going to fall in love if you're worried about having a broken heart. You have to risk the broken heart if you're ever going to fall in love. There's risk involved in life, in a life well lived, always. So the miracle of the fish asks us all to ask ourselves the question, what would we do differently in our lives? Or what would we stop doing if the impossible was possible? if the things that we told ourselves were beyond our reach were actually within our reach? What would we do differently? And the work of Jesus starts, strangely enough, in the midst of futility, but leads us beyond futility. We try to change the world because we can imagine, sometimes only barely imagine, that change is possible. If we don't believe that change is possible, then we won't try. And we have learned futility's lesson well. But the world that this miracle story presents to us is a world that futility does not have the final word in. Don't let the mere fact that something's impossible, something that we have learned through hard experience that is impossible, don't let that stop us from imagining that it just might happen anyways.